There's something noble about idealism, to believe the world can be better, to hold high standards for yourself and others, to refuse to settle for mediocrity. It is the heartbeat of reformers, artists, innovators and visionaries. Without idealism, nothing great would ever be built. But even the purest virtues cast shadows. Idealism, when unchecked, can stop us from living in reality. It can demand a perfection the world cannot give, and punish us when it inevitably falls short. The Stoics respected vision, but they were suspicious of illusions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Idealism often begins in the mind, but it can easily try to control the world outside it. You imagine how people should behave, you envision how systems should work, you design how life should unfold, and when the world refuses to play along, disappointment creeps in. Seneca warned us, "Expecting is the greatest impediment to living. In anticipation of tomorrow, it loses today." Idealism without grounding is a constant state of expectation, always living for the day when things match your vision. You tell yourself, once people understand, once the world changes, once the conditions are right. But those onces keep you waiting instead of moving. The shadow of idealism is paralysis. You hesitate to act until the plan is perfect. You delay starting until the conditions align. You withhold joy until the world matches your ideals. In this way, idealism can rob you of progress, and worse, it can rob you of peace. Epictetus reminded his students, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." The Stoics didn't reject high standards. They simply insisted those standards be aimed at what you can control, your actions, your responses, your principles. When idealism demands control over the uncontrollable, it becomes a burden. This doesn't mean abandoning vision, it means tempering it with reality. The world will never be perfect. People will never fully live up to your hopes. You yourself will never embody every ideal you hold, and that's okay. The Stoic approach is not to lower your ideals, it's to anchor them in the present moment where you can actually work toward them. So ask yourself, am I using my ideals as a compass or as a cage? Are they guiding me forward or holding me hostage to disappointment? Do I leave space for imperfection in others and in myself? These questions don't diminish idealism, they redeem it, turning it from a rigid demand into a living, breathing practice. Idealism begins as a beautiful thing, a vision of how life could be. But somewhere along the way it can harden into perfectionism. What starts as inspiration becomes a prison. Your ideals, once a guiding star, become a constant reminder of how far you fall short. Perfectionism wears the mask of discipline, but its true face is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being seen as less than the image you project. You tell yourself, "I'll start when I'm ready. I'll share my work when it's flawless. I'll move forward when I've mastered every detail." But readiness never comes, flawlessness never arrives, and your ideal becomes a reason to stand still. Seneca cautioned, "While we wait for life, life passes." The perfection trap convinces you that acting imperfectly is worse than not acting at all. And so you wait, polishing, refining, preparing, while the days slip away. The Stoics were clear. Life is too short for paralysis. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." He didn't say, "Do it perfectly." He didn't say, "Wait until it's ideal." He said, "Decide, then act." Perfectionism also has a cruel way of distorting your relationships. When you expect perfection from yourself, you often begin to expect it from others. And when they inevitably fail, frustration grows. You might find yourself thinking, if they really cared, they'd do it right. If they were competent, they'd meet my standard. This mindset quietly erodes trust, replacing compassion with criticism. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Whenever you are offended at someone's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." Your own imperfection is the antidote to judgment. When you remember how often you fall short of your own ideals, it becomes easier to forgive others for falling short of theirs. The perfection trap is seductive because it feels like commitment to excellence. But excellence is not perfection. Excellence is effort. Excellence is growth. Excellence is showing up fully, even when you're unsure. The Stoics pursued virtue relentlessly, but they understood they would never embody it completely. Virtue was a direction, not a finish line. So if your idealism has morphed into perfectionism, loosen your grip. Let your ideals inspire you, but don't let them suffocate you. Ask, am I delaying because I care deeply or because I'm afraid? Am I holding back out of integrity or out of insecurity? If I acted today imperfectly, what would happen? Chances are you'd learn, you'd improve, you'd move forward, and that is the true spirit of an idealist. Before we continue, I want to share something important with you. We've seen that a large number of our viewers, perhaps even you, listen regularly, but haven't yet subscribed. If this message has resonated with you so far, if you find even a moment of stillness or clarity in these reflections, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing. This channel is not about noise. It's not about trends. It's about service. And I can promise you this. Our small but committed team will continue doing everything we possibly can to bring you value every single week. Thoughtfully researched, carefully written, quietly powerful. All we ask in return is that you join us by subscribing and turn on notifications so you never miss your next moment of insight. Let's walk this path together. One of the hardest truths for an idealist to face is this. The world will not match your vision. Not always, not often, maybe, never. And when reality refuses to bend, the idealist is left with two choices, resentment or resilience. Disappointment is the tax we pay for holding high expectations. The greater the ideal, the greater the potential for disillusionment. You picture how a friendship should unfold, and it drifts apart. You imagine a workplace where everyone values integrity, and you find politics and pettiness instead. You dream of a society that chooses wisdom over greed and watch it repeatedly fail the test. Seneca warned, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Idealists often suffer twice. Once in the failure of reality to match the dream, and again in the refusal to accept it. This suffering can harden into cynicism. Many former idealists become the harshest critics, not because they stopped caring, but because caring hurt too much. Their love for the possible curdled into bitterness about the real. The Stoics offer a different path. See the world clearly, flaws and all, without giving up on your role within it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The cucumber is bitter, then throw it out. There are brambles in the path, then go around them. That is enough." In other words, don't waste yourself railing at the nature of things. Work with what is in front of you. Idealism becomes a burden when it demands that reality change before you can act with purpose. The Stoic says, act anyway. If a friend disappoints you, be the friend you wish they were. If your workplace is flawed, bring the integrity you want to see. If the world is unjust, work for justice where your hands can reach. This doesn't mean lowering your ideals, it means freeing them from the need for immediate results. You can plant seeds knowing that you may never see the tree. You can give without guarantee of return. You can work for change without needing to control the timeline. Epictetus advised, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." Your vision of the good is valuable, but your attachment to instant proof of it, that is the chain that holds you back. So when the world doesn't match the dream, don't throw away the dream. Temper it, root it, channel it into daily action you can sustain. That is the mark of an idealist who has grown wise. Idealism often carries a hidden weight, rigidity. The stronger our vision of how things should be, the harder it is to adapt when they aren't. We cling to the perfect picture in our mind and resist every deviation from it. But life does not honor rigid lines. It bends, twists and shifts in ways we cannot predict. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." To the rigid mind, obstacles are enemies. To the adaptable mind, obstacles are invitations to rethink, to reframe, to re-engage. The danger of rigidity is twofold. First, it delays action until the ideal moment arrives, something that rarely happens. Second, it blinds us to alternative paths that may still honor our values. You may hold an ideal for a perfect project launch, but reality gives you limited resources. You may dream of the flawless relationship, but you find a partner who challenges you in unexpected ways. You may imagine the world adopting your vision overnight, but progress comes in uneven steps. If your idealism cannot bend, it will break. Epictetus reminded his students, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." This is not surrender, it's strategic adaptation. Adaptability says, "I will keep my principles, but I will change my methods. I will hold to my purpose, but I will let go of my timetable. I will aim for the ideal, but I will work with what is real." Think of bamboo. It stands tall, yet bends with the wind. Its flexibility is what allows it to survive storms that snap more rigid trees. Our ideals must be like bamboo, rooted but able to sway without losing their essence. Rigidity often comes from fear that if we bend, we will lose ourselves. But bending is not betraying your ideals. It's preserving them for the long journey ahead. The Stoics understood that the pursuit of virtue is not a straight path. It's a winding road, requiring patience and adjustment at every turn. So ask yourself, where am I refusing to adapt because it feels like compromise? Where might flexibility allow me to still honor my vision, but in a way reality can support? Adaptability is the bridge between idealism and wisdom. It lets us keep our heart in the clouds while keeping our feet on the ground. In this balance, we not only protect our ideals, we give them a fighting chance to shape the world. Idealism in its purest form is a gift. It keeps hope alive in dark times. It reminds us that better is possible. It fuels progress. But idealism without maturity can burn us out, alienate others, and leave us perpetually dissatisfied. The mature idealist understands this. You can hold a vision for the world and still live fully in the one you have. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The mature idealist doesn't waste their life waiting for external perfection. They find joy in acting well within imperfect conditions. They plant seeds even if they will never sit in the shade of the tree. They contribute to causes, knowing they may not see the end result. They love people not only for what they could be, but for who they are now. The immature idealist says, "When the world changes, I will give my best." The mature idealist says, "I will give my best, regardless of the world." Seneca advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Immature idealism craves a better future so intensely that it misses the present. Mature idealism finds ways to embody that better future here and now. This is not compromise, it's craftsmanship. It's the activist who fights injustice without letting hatred poison their heart. It's the artist who paints with passion, even if the world looks away. It's the leader who models integrity, even when the environment is corrupt. Mature idealists know they will never fully arrive. And so they stop treating life as a waiting room for the perfect day. They make their ideals visible now, in their work, their words, their relationships. They have learned the Stoic art of detachment from results. Work with all your heart. Release the outcome. Ask yourself, how can I live my ideals today, even in small ways? Can I embody what I long for, instead of only longing for it? Am I willing to keep working for the good even when no one notices? The mature idealist walks with both vision and acceptance. They do not abandon their dreams, nor are they crushed by the gap between dream and reality. They inhabit the space in between, fully, gracefully, steadfastly. And in doing so, they become what the Stoics admired most, a person who lives according to virtue, whatever the world may do. So, where does your idealism hold you back? Perhaps when it demands a perfect world before you live your best life. But when grounded in wisdom, your idealism can be a compass pointing you forward while keeping you rooted in the present. Live there, work there, and let your vision breathe.